that sweet spot for me was where I would actually close more deals consistently over a long period of time. What's up, Sales Ascender? Sean here. Super excited to be here with you. Today is Taco Tuesday, and I love Taco Tuesday. But let's just jump right into it. Sean, how many sales calls is a good amount? So many people always ask me this, and the reason they ask me this is because they think, hey, I'm going to go do a bunch of work and preload the first part of the month, and then I'm just going to coast the rest of the month. When you do that, unfortunately, it creates this ebb and flow, up and down, cyclical thing where you feel like, that feels like garbage. I don't like that. It doesn't feel good to me. It's not a thing that I want to keep doing. And so how do you prevent that? Well, the secret comes back to a very simple word. It's called consistency, right? So we all know what consistency means. It means doing the same thing as clockwork, as a Swiss watch would run, as a Rolex would keep ticking, or whatever the case may be. And so when it comes to sales calls, you have a capacity. Whatever your capacity is right now is whatever it's going to be. Now, if you've been doing sales for a really long time, your capacity is probably bigger, right? Just like if you blew up a balloon, and the more times you did that, your lungs would create greater capacity to continue blowing up more and more balloons. Same thing with sales. So the question Nikki asks is how many sales calls is a good amount? So the answer should be you have to test it, right? So you have to set yourself a baseline. That's the first thing to do. Like when I started our software company with our team and everybody else that was going on, I said, you know what? I'm just going to go balls to the wall, as like most entrepreneurs do. And they have that thing where they're like, I can do it all. I'm the man. I'm going to win. And I had that whole like kind of ego-driven piece in me. And what I realized was that I am not superhuman. I am a regular person, and I do have limits, and I get exhausted just like you and everybody else that's listening to this. So what I thought is like, okay, so I was at a point where I was taking between 13 and 15 sales calls a day. Each of them were anywhere between like 40 minutes to an hour. And what I was realizing was that I could only sustain that literally, like I could do it maybe 2 days or 3 days a week. And the other 2 days of the week, I'd be completely shot. So that didn't work for me. So what I did is I said, hang on a second, what days of the week do I close most deals? So I went back and I looked at my data, and I was like, okay, I close most of my deals on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So those are the 2 days I'm definitely going to take sales calls. And then I thought, well, I want to add more sales calls. So maybe I'll change the time of taking those sales calls during the day. And I ended up blocking my calendar. So I blocked my calendar Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Of course, I'd been doing sales for like 15 years at the time. So I had the capacity to be able to do that. And then each day I was taking anywhere between 2 and 4 sales calls. So in any given week, I was taking 20. For me, that was still too many, right? And so I got to this place where I said, what if I could only do 9 or 10 calls a week, but I had it consistently flowing every single week all the time? Is that a capacity that I can feel good about? Is it the capacity that I can deliver on? And so really what it comes down to is set yourself a baseline. Take 1 or 2 days of the week, set yourself some blocks in your calendar, maybe 3 days a week, depending on where your business is. If it's a just starting business, you're going to need to sell more. If it's something that's been more established and you only need a consistent cadence of new clients coming in, like maybe a handful of them a month or something like that, then you can start to set this cadence and reduce the amount of time that you take sales calls. But in actuality, the idea is you should always be prospecting 70% of your time all the time. Like that needs to be in everybody's mind. Like prospecting is the hard work. It is the thing that creates the conversations, because the conversations are the things that you can knock down as a business owner, especially when you're into your thing and you're the best person that usually can sell it better than anybody else, which is usually the case. So what I did when we moved into our new model is I said, hey, I'm going to set myself up 10 calls a week. I want to do 3 calls a day. I feel that's good. It gives me 2 days of admin time. And so what I did for my calendar, which is going to be different for you, is I said, hey, I'm taking 9 to 10 calls a week consistently. And so then I said, okay, that's perfect. So that was my capacity. And then I started testing against what I found was that sweet spot for me was where I would actually close more deals consistently over a long period of time. So when I started, it was, hey, I'm going to do a bunch of sales calls in the beginning of the month and then just goof off the rest of the month. That's a bad choice. Then I said, hey, just a little bit less amount, but continued velocity, like consistently. And that was the piece that changed everything for me, and it allowed us to shoot to the moon. So with that said, today, that was my high ticket tune-up. If you're saying how many calls should I take, start with 2 a day for the whole week. Go for 10 in every single day. Feel like what that feels like. If you don't like that, go squish it into 3 days in the week and give yourselves 2 admins on Mondays and Fridays. Typically what we do, we do a lot of client work for a high ticket consulting agency on Mondays. And then again on Fridays as well. So that's kind of the calendar that we have. But I feel like if you are in that question, like how many sales calls is a good amount, just set yourself up a baseline, test against it, look at how many deals you're closing, and you got to test it for a period of time. Most people don't test for long enough. So do 2 sales calls every day for say 4 weeks, a whole month. And then look at your close ratios, look at your numbers, look at all the things that you're looking at, and then say, okay, now this next month, I'm going to squish 3 days into the week, and I'm going to do 3 calls a day, 3 days a week, and then do that for a month, and then look at your results. And then based on your close ratios and everything else that's going on in your world, that should start to be the level of your cadence, the baseline that you put into your business. And then from there, you can grow or decrease depending on what you need to do in order to continue your business running in the right direction. So with that said, I hope this helps. I love your face, and I'll see you on Hump Day tomorrow.